Hey guys, I'm Kenny, and in today's episode, I'm going to be talking about Talkspace, which last Wednesday announced that they're going to be merging with Hudson Executive Investment Corp, or HEC. Now, this merger would actually form the only publicly traded pure play in the virtual behavioral health space. Now, Talkspace was founded in 2012, and it is a online and mobile therapy company that connects licensed therapists with users. Now, behavioral and mental health is a very serious issue, and over the past few decades, we've seen a huge influx of people with these conditions. Now, one of the main drivers behind this is social media. However, with the Rona that happened later last year, it's actually seen an acceleration of mental health issues. The thing about mental illness is that it doesn't discriminate and it can really affect anyone out there. Now, despite this, there aren't that many solutions to help combat mental health. However, therapy is one of the best options. Now, therapy is still kind of looked down upon as there aren't that many people that would consider it or even use therapy themselves. Now, despite this, as we've seen in the past decade, therapy is starting to become a little bit more destigmatized and it is picking up a little bit more traction. Now, I personally have a lot of friends that actually go to therapy on a weekly basis, and they say that they get a lot of positive benefits out of it. Now, I think the whole mental health space and therapy could be a really big opportunity, so that's why I want to look into it now and try to really understand what this whole space is all about. So with that lengthy intro out of the way, let's dive right into what Talkspace is all about. Behavioral health is a vital service with an enormous TAM, or total addressable market. And the reason is because anyone can have personal mental health issues that they have to work through. Now, over 70 million Americans suffer from mental illness spread across all ethnic, socioeconomic, and age ranges. So mental health doesn't discriminate. Now, there's been 30% increase in annual U.S. suicide rates since 2001, and there's been billions of dollars that's been spent annually in the U.S. on unnecessary ER visits for mental illnesses, and of annual lost wages and lost productivity as a result. We can see that their true global TAM is increasing at a 3.5% compound annual growth rate. So what is Talkspace? Well, Talkspace is a leading virtual behavioral health platform. Now, Talkspace has a robust technology platform. They're highly rated on the App Store. They have a leading management team. They have a large optimized clinical network. They have unique business-to-consumer capabilities. And they have a robust and rapidly expanding B2B presence. Now, forecasted for this year in 2021, they're looking at $125 million in net revenue at a 69% year-over-year revenue growth with 64% gross margins. Now, they have over 2 million members served to date, 39 million commercial covered lives, 46,000 active members. They're rated number 1 in branded virtual therapies. They have 2,650 providers and 68% of members who saw improvement, and 68% of members saw improvement in their symptoms. So right off the bat, we can see that a lot of Talkspace users are getting positive benefits, and the Talkspace brand is very strong. Now, Talkspace's mission is to provide more people with convenient access to affordable behavioral healthcare so that those in need live a happier and healthier life. It's good to see that their mission is trying to do a lot of good in the world, and I think a lot of people can get behind that. We can see that they have a highly experienced leadership team with both tech and healthcare expertise. Now, as we've seen with Rona earlier last year, going virtual is not a convenience, but it's mandatory now. Now, virtual therapy is ideal for the unmet need in behavioral care. We can see that it provides much better access and quality of care, as opposed to in-person limitations where it's inefficient, high cost, and in general, it's just tougher to have to go in person. Now, Talkspace is offering multiple ways to access care with an affordable pricing model, and they have a strong tech background with a matching algorithm and AI machine learning driven platform. Now, what's really interesting about Talkspace's business model is that they're focusing on business to consumer as well as business to business. Now, we can see that directly to the consumer, they're charging about $65 per week for Messaging Plus, $79 per week for Messaging Premium, which includes live video, and $99 per week, which is Live Talk Ultimate, where it includes 4 live videos. Now, on the business-to-business side, for therapy, they offer an employee assistance program, behavioral health, and direct-to-employer. Now, they also offer psychiatry, where it's a fee per session model. Now, the initial consultation is $200 with a follow-up of $125. And what this does is translates to robust growth, as they've seen a huge influx of their business-to-consumer active members, as well as their total business-to-business covered lives. They're seeing sustained high growth in direct-to-consumer member bases and very impressive client growth, despite only recently launching. In the first quarter of 2019, they only had about 2 million people covered on their corporate side. However, currently they have over 39 million people that are covered. Now, on the other side of things, they're seeing very robust growth in the active providers or the therapists themselves. Now, they're seeing over 100% growth in these active providers, with about 1,300 as of June 2019, and as of November 2020, 2,650. One really good thing to see is that these therapists have really great experience, with 100% of providers with a master's degree or higher, with 8 years being the average years of experience per provider. Now, their unrivaled value proposition is offering flexibility and convenience, personal development, efficiency, and income. Now, Talkspace's robust technology platform drives differentiated care model. So we can see the journey that someone takes from screening to matching, treatment, all the way down to the final step where it's maintenance. Now, since they're a tech-focused platform, we can see the kind of engagement that they have, as well as the kind of impacts that it has. Now, Talkspace offers a best-in-class member experience, everywhere from finding a provider, offering guaranteed response time, having a multi-platform capability, and digital navigation and triage. Now, I think the UI in their app looks really good, and what I like is that you're able to do a lot of things from the mobile app itself. Now, as many of us millennials and Gen Zers, we're very in tune with technology with our phone, and having a ability to goal set, getting guidance, and live video sessions straight to your phone, it definitely is a huge competitive advantage. Now, Talkspace wouldn't be anywhere if it didn't get results, and Talkspace is really delivering on this side of things. Now, they have a science-based approach, which leads to a superior clinical outcome. We can see with a clinical case study that 68% of patients improved or remitted. This was done through a published study of over 10,000 participants, with a study length of about 1.5 to 3 months. And with 10 peer-reviewed studies, it showed that there's a huge focus on clinical excellence. Now, Talkspace is claiming that they have the strongest brand in digital behavioral health. And for me personally, I do think that Talkspace is really one of the leaders. Now, the only one that I see compared to other US behavioral telehealth brands is Teladoc Health. However, Talkspace is really the only pure play when it comes to this field. Now, they have notable spokespeople such as Michael Phelps and Demi Lovato, who have gone through personal struggles themselves. Talkspace is claiming that they have multiple levers for continued rapid growth. The first one being continue expanding user base and increase engagement. They plan on continuing driving brand awareness and member engagement, maintain current and capture repeat members, and expand their member base. 80% of members view Talkspace as a more effective than traditional face-to-face therapy, and 98% of members view Talkspace as a more convenient than traditional therapy. Which all makes sense, right? You're sitting at home at the comfort and the privacy of your own room, and you don't have to deal with having to go in or really the stigma of you going into a therapy place. Now, the whole therapy space is still in its early innings, as only 36% of Americans are open to seeing a therapist. 42% of Americans have seen a therapist or at some point of their lives. And Talkspace is really trying to utilize their brand awareness for further penetration and to really try destigmatizing this and to try to get more people to resolve some of their personal problems. Now, the second pillar was to diversify pathways to continued business-to-business growth. As we talked about earlier, they're significantly adding a lot more new business-to-business clients. And as a personal anecdote, my old company actually signed up with Talkspace, and they actually gave us free sessions. Free as in the company paid for it. It was free for us, but the company paid for it. Now, as a personal anecdote, my old company actually offered Talkspace to us in the need that if we had any mental issues or any personal problems, that we were able to go and resolve that. Now, I thought it was a thoughtful gesture, and a lot of my coworkers actually took them up on that offer. I think as Talkspace continues to land contracts with a lot of different big companies such as Google, Blackstone, or Accenture, it'll only help bolster a continued flow of a stable and growing industry that they're able to continue to tap in, as many businesses would like to invest in the well-being of their employees. Now, Talkspace has a clear global expansion opportunity with over 205 billion global behavioral health TAM. Now, the rationale behind this is that it's highly exportable platform capabilities, its near-term focus on English-speaking countries, and clear perspective on regulatory and clinical requirements. The last pillar is that they're optimally positioned for M&A opportunities across behavioral health landscape. Now, Talkspace plans on expanding to other small little niches associated with this industry, such as wellness and coaching platforms, chronic managed care, face-to-face therapy and psychiatry platforms, and virtual therapy and psychiatry adjacencies. So with that, let's dive into the financials. Now, Talkspace is seeing pretty robust revenue growth and in their gross profit. They're seeing about 60% compound annual growth rate in their revenue and 78% compound annual growth rate in their gross profit. In 2019, we can see that Talkspace did about $38 million in revenue. However, in 2020, it had a huge acceleration because of COVID, with up to $74 million, which is a 94% increase. Now, I think this is a long-term tailwind and trend that will only continue in the future as more and more people are going to rely on virtual healthcare visits. Now, Talkspace has a really strong growth trajectory. As forecasting about 2 to 3 years out into 2023, it's forecasting about 75% growth in their revenue and 55% in their gross profit. Now, as of last year in 2020, Talkspace was not profitable, with about $15 million of a loss. In 2021, this year, they're expected to have a loss of about $12 million. Now, in 2022, they actually expect a positive net income at about $14 million. It's really good to see their path to profitability, and it won't actually be that long. Hopefully by sometime next year, they'll become profitable. So now let's go over their transaction. Now, Talkspace is preparing to go public through a SPAC merger with Hudson Executive Investment Corp., which has raised $300 million in PIPE to further support long-term growth. Now, Talkspace will trade on the NASDAQ under the ticker TALK at closing, which is expected to late Q1 or early Q2. Now, we can see the pro forma capitalization and ownership. So we can see the estimated transaction sources and uses, as well as the post-money valuation at close. Now, they expect to raise about $739 million in cash. Now, the total equity value comes out to be about $1.65 billion, with their pro forma enterprise value being about $1.4 billion. Now, what this translates to is Talkspace having a pretty attractive valuation when compared to some of their peers. Now, Talkspace is being valued at about 11 times its 2021 sales and 6.8 times its 2022 sales. Now, on the gross profit side, they're seeing about 15.5 times in 2021 and about 11 times in 2022. This is pretty attractive compared to some of their other competitors, such as GoodRx, Amwell, and Teladoc. So to wrap it all up, Talkspace has a tremendous unmet medical need with a huge TAM accelerated by COVID. Their platform is designed to optimize outcomes for patients and clinicians. Now, they offer more affordable and more timely access. Since Talkspace is a tech company, they have a scalable tech stack driven by unmatched behavioral dataset. They have a proven public telehealth track record, and they have a highly attractive valuation, growth profile, and unit economics. So in summary, mental health is one of the biggest pandemic issues that we're going to be facing in 2021. Now, mental health disorders have been on an exponential rise, as we've seen from social media and being locked at home, that a lot of people are struggling with their mental health. Therapy, especially online therapy, has been a safe haven for a lot of people to be able to talk through their issues and to try to work through these problems. Now, Talkspace is targeting a really big problem, and their opportunity is vast. Now, really anyone can go through mental issues or have problems that they need to talk through and resolve. And I believe that Talkspace, as they are becoming the leader in this therapy industry, they really have a great opportunity ahead of them. As we've seen from the financials, they've seen a huge acceleration in 2020, and I think that these tailwinds are going to continue long into the future. Now, Talkspace has a really big network effect, and with it being a tech platform, I believe it's able to scale as it continues to grow. Now, I believe Talkspace is a very big opportunity, and with it trading at only around $11 to $12 as of right now, since it was just announced that it was going to be merging last Wednesday, I think it could be a really great time to pick up some shares. Now, I'm actually planning in the next week to actually buy this company, and I think it would be a great long-term hold to add to our portfolio. Now, I think this whole space will only continue to grow, which is pretty unfortunate, but for Talkspace, it would be a really good thing as they're able to continue to connect people to licensed therapists. I think they're going to capitalize on this growing demand of people who need to seek out help and to talk through their mental health problems. And I think Talkspace is really well positioned to really be the leader. I personally want to be invested in this space, as to me, there's no denying that this industry will only continue to grow over time. And with that, guys, thanks for sticking around and watching this video. Now, if you guys like content like this, make sure to smash that like button, hit that subscribe button, and turn on bell notifications. And for doing that, you guys can get a free stock or free money with the links down below if you guys sign up with a brokerage account and deposit up to $100. Let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think about this company and what you guys are gonna do with this stock, as I would love to hear what your guys' thoughts are. Alright guys, I'll see you in the next video, and let's go get that bag.